What is going on, YouTube universe? It's your boy, Chief One Pop. Just gotta say to all you 38 subscribers out there, thank you for being a part of the Paw Tribe. Really means a lot to me. And if you are not a part of the Paw Tribe and you want to be, you know what to do. Subscribe. Let's get into it. This is why you're here. Yep. This is my own hand. Yep. This is my hand. My right hand. As you can see, it's a pretty perfect match. There it is. Size comparison. So how did I acquire my own hand? What happened? Let's get into it. So what happened to me to acquire my own hand? I was involved in a snowboarding accident. This accident happened up at Schweitzer Mountain Resort in Idaho, and a skier collided with me. This skier and I, we were going down. I was on the job, luckily, so everything's been covered by workman's comp, even cutting off my own hand. I didn't have to pay for that. A skier and I collided at the bottom of a run, midway, and I collided with my right side. I was technically downhill from him, so I had the right of way. I collided with my right side, hitting him with my shoulder and my head. This caused a lot of trauma to my neck area. I paralyzed my right arm. So my right arm is paralyzed. I've got flexion in it. That's from a surgery. I can get into that in another video. My hand, you're like, you must be wondering, how do you lose a hand in a snowboarding accident? I didn't lose it in the snowboarding accident. So with the snowboarding accident, I just paralyzed my right arm, broke my neck, and also suffered a traumatic brain injury. It was an icy day, so I'm assuming that I was going probably 40 plus miles an hour, if not faster. We've got a huge need for speed. It was an icy day, and I'm not sure what happened. I got knocked unconscious for 15 minutes. I don't remember the day at all. Or about a week after that, I was life flighted to the hospital. Critical condition. But luckily, I'm here. And I've got my own hand. So how did I get my hand? I actually chose to cut off my own hand. So I'm sure a lot of you are in disbelief of that. I know it's pretty crazy, out of every way to lose your hand, shark attack, or, who knows, a saw. Lots of ways to lose your hand seem more believable, but I actually chose to cut off my own hand. Why did I choose that, you might be asking? Well, it gets pretty complicated, but I'll sum it up for you and make it nice and easy. I, with a paralyzed arm, have very long limbs. I'm 6'4". So I'm a tall guy. Got a lot of length on these limbs. And what it comes down to is basic biomechanics of the body. I know it can be hard to think of what a paralyzed arm is like, but a paralyzed arm, you've got no shoulder, I've got no pec, and I've got no shoulder blade. So I can't do anything. The only thing I can do is shrug with my trap, which isn't a part of the arm. So my whole arm is paralyzed from the shoulder down, bicep, everything. Nothing works. So if you can think about it, having a paralyzed limb, it's a limp noodle. It does not work for you at all. When you get up out of bed, your arm's flailing behind you because gravity's pulling down on it. Not being able to have control of your limb it's difficult, man. It takes a lot of grit to get through, and this injury is very painful. But I chose to cut off my hand for a prosthetic, and not only did I choose to cut it off for a prosthetic, but I also chose to amputate it for less of my paralyzed limb. So with a paralyzed limb, especially a paralyzed hand, I've got to stretch this thing. I had to, once I still had it. Caring for it. I had to put on a wrist brace because the wrist was like this, If you can really try to relax your arm as best as you can and flail that thing around, that's somewhat like my hand was, but worse. So putting on shirts, wearing gloves, there's a lot of things that come with a paralyzed limb that you don't think about. I also burned it a few times. So for all these reasons, I chose to cut off my hand. It's a pretty bold decision, but I had a few choices when the surgeon gave me his options. He said that I could either try to rewire a nerve to my hand for minor function. Not very many people found that useful. Or I could cut off my own hand for a prosthetic. And for me, I kind of knew right away, I'm cutting off my own hand for a prosthetic. It's a choice that you don't get granted in life. I haven't heard of too many people choosing to cut off their own hand. And I got granted that choice and I took it. It's pretty instantaneous for me. I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. And not only did I get a prosthetic, but now for sports and activities, say when I'm jogging or running or doing plyometrics in the gym, my arm still flails, okay? So I don't really, still don't have much control of it. But I don't have my hand. So with that being said, there's a lot less weight on my shoulder. There's a lot less weight over on this side. There's less gravitational pull on my body without the hand. And so for those reasons, I chose to cut off my hand. So as you can see, my hand is in a box now. I made this fiberglass box with the few helping hands, of course. I'm not super handy, but I made this fiberglass box and it was really difficult to make. I'll tell you that. As you can see, there's a few, that doesn't match up super perfectly. There's also some lights in it. We got lights in there. We did it up right. So how did I acquire my own hand? Well, after the amputation, I let the surgeon know that I wanted to keep my hand. He said, unfortunately, we can't do that. Passed some laws. People have been throwing their body parts away and just mishandling all their limbs that they've taken. So back in 2017, there's laws passed against keeping your own amputated limbs. And I told the surgeon, I need it. I need it, man. For religious reasons, I need to be buried whole. And he said, okay, we can make that work for you, but unfortunately, you are going to have to get your hand cremated. Once I heard that, I was a little devastated, but called a lawyer up, and he said that you are able to obtain your own body parts and have custody of them. You just have to find a funeral home that is willing to work with you and let you take your own hand. So I found a funeral home in Rochester, Minnesota that allowed me to take my own hand. And from there, what did I do? Well, I had to send my hand home. So I got my hand sent to my grandma's house where I was staying after recovery. And it was in her freezer for about 3 weeks. So I've got some photographs of it, and it was in my freezer. It was pretty damn weird to be holding my own hand. That would have been a really good picture of me holding my hand in the plastic bag with all the flesh on it and whatnot. But from there, you may be saying, well, how is it so clean? It looks professionally done, and it is professionally done. This work was done by Skulls Unlimited. So I sent in my hand to Skulls Unlimited to have it articulated. Skulls Unlimited was very glad and willing to take my own hand. And they've only got one registered technician there who is able to work with human specimens. That person did a lovely job. I do have a video posted on how my hand was defleshed and the process of it. Quite the process. So I got my hand back in a bag and I was a bit nervous to take it out. I didn't for a while. And then I messaged them and say, is it okay to handle it? Because I did some research saying that bones can get brown from skin oils and whatnot. But they put a clear coat on it, luckily. So then I was hands-on with that thing. I was touching this. I did some Omega. What's that? Is that Omega? Whatever that live video chat thing is. Had it on there for a while, and that was still up and running. I think that website's discontinued now. Had some fun with it, and I have a lot of ideas of what I want to do with my hand. This is just the first iteration of it. I will be happy to share what I want to do with it in the future. But this is just the first iteration. A necklace. I feel very proud wearing my own hand, whether it be at a festival, Halloween, what I want to do with this thing. I think social experiments with this would be really fun. I think trying to go out and, give people a hand, whatever it may be, I think it would come for some pretty damn funny reactions. I think it would be hilarious. And I will definitely be showing all, I'm going to keep it in the box and for a necklace for the time being. But I think in the future, I definitely want to make a staff with this. So at festivals, people have staffs for their group. I think that would be really fun to do. I think making a light with it would be pretty awesome. I've also had some ideas for like a key holder. That could be a good idea. But if you guys have got any ideas of what I should be doing with my hand, or, what kind of social experiments or maybe adventures you want to see, I would love to travel with this thing, hike with it, go to concerts with it and whatnot. But I've got a lot of ideas of what I want to do with it. And if you guys are curious about any of my other stories, and I had to learn how to re-walk after my injury. I've been through a lot. I've been through 4 surgeries. I've got 50 scars. Yep, I've got a hairy shoulder. I've also got a muscle from my leg in my arm to give me flexion. As you can see, I can flex it up. Gravity takes it down. I've also got 11 screws in my shoulder. You see that plate? 11 screws. It's funny. Chopping off my hand was the easiest of this whole injury I've been through. Learning how to re-walk and learning how to do everything single-handedly. And this was the easiest part. The part that's the most interesting, owning my own hand. So it's a little bit ironic how that works out. But I'm just grateful to be alive. Grateful for you to be listening. Let me know what you want to see from me in the future. Cheers. Chief One Paw, out.